Hello everybody, we are going to go ahead and begin our first ever mission of the brand new game XCOM Chimera Squad. This is super exciting. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, this story takes place sometime in between the events of XCOM 2 and hopefully someday an XCOM 3. To start this game off, I do not know that much about it. I did see the trailers, a little bit of a breach mechanic. I know a little bit about each character, but I have not ever played that before. And we are going to go ahead and skip the tutorial, jumping straight in on Impossible. We are going to enable Ironman. What's hardcore? Oh, failing any mission results in total campaign loss. And I believe you fail a mission if any of your soldiers goes down and dies or bleeds out. I don't see that being a great option for the start here, just losing a straight up campaign. That could be something for the future, but not right now. Nope, we don't want to decrease that. Tutorial is disabled. Show subtitles and heal between encounters. No healing, that seems fine to me. We'll keep it nice and difficult, and yeah, this should be very, very interesting. My background on XCOM has not been anything too huge, and I'll shut up for the cutscene.
Mayor Nightingale perished in an explosion at City 31's Memorial Museum. The identity of her assailants is unknown at this time. The City Council asks citizens to remain...
So she gets vaporized the same day XCOM sends Chimera Squad to our city? You hear that voice in your head? That's me telling you to wake up!
Despite opposition, Mayor Nightingale's deciding vote brought the Reclamation Agency to the city. Without her support, Chimera Squad's continued presence is an open question.
So that's going to be a time limit then, right? Until enough people vote up against us? That's tricky. Anyways, yeah, back to my XCOM experience just really quickly. I did play the first game, Enemy Unknown, and Enemy Within. These are all just the Firaxis titles, nothing before that. So Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within, as well as XCOM 2, XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. I dabbled a little bit in the Long War campaigns, but never finished anything. So I am certainly not inexperienced in XCOM, but I do not have the greatest experience either. So this should be really interesting, just kind of looking at everybody here. I don't honestly know a whole lot about a lot of these guys, so I'm going to kind of go with what I know just to speed up this opening bit. I really like the idea. I know Terminal here is super good, that safeguard ability there. Sending the gremlin each turn, even without a medkit, should be able to restore 4 HP and get rid of all effects, which just seems so good. Plus, it's like one of the protocols in the previous game where you're getting extra defense as well. That's huge, and does not end the turn, so you can do that and something else. That just seems too good to pass up to me. Of course, you know, maybe we just never have to use it, but seeing as we're starting this fresh, I'm going with we probably will need to use it. Beyond that, we don't ever really get to play with aliens in XCOM, so I feel like I should just kind of fill out with the remaining aliens: Axiom, Torque, and Verge. Verge actually gets aim for people in a neural network is what I'm seeing here, as well as essentially, does this damage them? So it's kind of like the Mind Fray from the Long War without damage. It'll kind of shut them down for a couple turns. Levitation. Removing cover bonuses during the breach. Oh, that's so cool, guys. That's awesome. And Battle Madness makes them go berserk and attack a nearby target. So a nearby target, does that mean the closest target to them, the closest of me, the closest alien? We're gonna have to figure that one out. Let's see. Again, I kind of feel like I gotta go with the aliens, right? I also know the Viper supposedly can get into spots that others can't, so let's go for it. Bind, I think, could be super cool, as well as Tongue Pole. Those work just like they would, I'm sure, in the other XCOM. And Adaptable, yep, that's what we thought, can enter through vent breach points, so we'll see if this is a smart decision or not. We're just going to kind of play through. And Axiom. Smash, Rage, and Battering Ram. So Smash can take them out of the fight as well, and I'm assuming Smash does damage. Doesn't say here, but I would assume that does damage. Rage. Raises the chance of applying disabling effects with melee. Okay, so this is a chance. Yeah, chance to disorient or stun. And then also increases the risk of going berserk. Didn't we see that? Was that up here? Berserk and attack a nearby target. So I wonder if he's the same thing, then he'll just attack whatever's closest to him. Meaning we might want to keep him a little bit further from the squad. Okay, can be increased manually or by taking damage, so that might be out of my control as well, which is interesting. Battering ram. Burst through a door breach point with a chance to panic nearby enemies. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. This is probably not the smartest strategy I could go with, but we got 3 aliens and we've got the all-important terminal right there, and we are gonna go ahead and head on in.
Chimera Squad, heads up. Director's on the line from XCOM HQ.
Chimera Squad, I know you're still settling in, but this cannot wait. A short time ago, insurgents crashed the opening of City 31's Memorial Museum. They took Mayor Nightingale hostage. 3-1 PD attempted a rescue, but the insurgents triggered a plasma bomb. Everyone inside was lost. Yes, 3-1 PD should have requested our help, but dwelling on that is counterproductive. We need to focus on what we do next. A crude plasma bomb killed the mayor. The insurgents had no access to materials for that.
Does that mean they had outside help?
Most likely. There are 3 groups in City 31 with access to this kind of ordnance.
Oh, cool. So we get to just investigate right off the bat here. So the Progeny, a loose network of human scions. Their vision for City 31's future is entirely psionic, whether the city wants it or not. I mean, Psi is really cool. That could be fun to go up against, but that almost seems like that's going to be a little bit too difficult if they start coming after us with Psi abilities. Well, let's see what we got. Gray Phoenix. So these guys also look primarily human, because these are all looking different here. So Gray Phoenix looks pretty robotic. An organization of alien scavengers. They have quietly amassed the kind of weaponry Reclamation is mandated to recover. Okay, so these are largely aliens more than robotic. Is that a muton instead? Am I messing this up? That's quite possible. And they've got weaponry, so again, that could be pretty difficult. And then Sacred Coil, an underground religious movement for hybrids. And by hybrids, I'm seeing a chrysalid, and is that a former Advent officer? So I'm going to guess they mean officers, maybe aliens? They preach salvation, but only to those who once fought XCOM. Well, that pretty much seals up my decision. Of these 3, this is the only one that's straight up against XCOM. I'm sure these 2 are dangerous as well, but this one is straight up against XCOM. That is absolutely who we are
Sacred
investigating
Coil is
first.
what happens when former Advent officers find religion, or create one.
Ouch.
They claim to be the true path for City 31's hybrids, as long as that path involves armed sedition.
Director, these are local criminals. Isn't that 3-1 PD's jurisdiction?
True. The Reclamation Agency supports local police, but we're also required to recover dangerous material.
From those who would do the world harm, and each of those groups is neck deep in the stuff. So what next?
Focus on a single group. Investigate, dismantle their operations, and take them down.
Meanwhile, we look for any links to the mayor's death. Either way, a dangerous organization is off the streets.
Exactly. The city wants justice for Mayor Nightingale. This is how we help them achieve it.
So this is super cool. This kind of seems like the old Exalt missions from the first couple of Firaxis XCOM games, which should just be absolutely awesome. So we're investigating Sacred Coil. We need to get more information, and that's pretty much all we've got right now. That's not a promising start. Faction leadership. That looks to me to be the outline of, are we calling them hybrids now instead of former Advent? It's directly adapted from Advent, so I'm going to guess I'm going to start calling them hybrids. I have no idea if that's right or not. Let's see here. We know that. We've opened the investigation, if nothing else. And, ooh, Dark Events are back. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we have this here. I'm going to guess I hit the back button. And here we are. Okay, this is awesome. Critical mission must be completed today. Oh, awesome. Okay, so that'll help us out knowing what to do.
Welcome to City 31. During Advent's occupation, the city was a fortress supporting an active starport.
Oh, that's
5 years after XCOM won the war, it's home to aliens, hybrids, and humans alike. There's new industry, self-government, and local agriculture to support the varied populations. Against all odds, this city thrived after the war. There were no retributive attacks.
Until tonight.
We don't know that. Not yet. But we can find out.
Okay, so that's super cool. This was an active starport. which is definitely something different from XCOM 2. We got pretty used to them psionically transporting enemies around, either that or just flying around in regular Advent transport ships. So kind of cool to know that they had these starports, and I'd be very interested to see what Earth looks like nowadays. That's pretty awesome. I also love the varied populations, as though that needs to be said. I'm sure it is difficult to find food for, say, mutons, and since I've seen a picture of a chrysalid, I don't know, from what we know about them, I'd assume they're not here, but who knows? Let's find out. But before we do this, we've got other things here that need to be talked about, so...
Check it out. Headquarters sent us an assembly. And with the right patterns, we can build anything. Or we could with the latest version. What you're looking at is the extremely finicky 2038 model. It'll take time to stress test our patterns, but once we have them, we're good to go.
So, we're still on a budget, is what I'm hearing. Looks like we've got pretty much no options other than going android personnel, which, I mean, I'm fine with, because I think the androids fill in for agents, right? Yeah, and enables new assembly projects. Okay, so there's no reason not to do this. This is essentially going to be our research tab, it looks like, which is super cool. Here we go with...
I'm authorizing Chimera Squad for special operations. Some ops provide useful resources for the squad. Keep an eye out for these opportunities.
Convince well-to-do individuals and business groups to provide a stopgap funding. Ooh. Cost, I'm assuming that's 3 days? And 75 rewards, 75 credits. Okay, so we can do some money. We can get some intel by embedding with 31 PD, which is super cool. And set up false buys. Oh, I love that, to get a bit of Illyrium. Okay, so let's say we don't have a ton of intel or Illyrium. Oh, but I have to choose these guys. Okay, which means they probably wouldn't be available. They wouldn't be available for the mission, so I'm gonna go ahead and back out of that. And I'll guess training is probably the same thing.
When you aren't on mission, you need to maintain your skills, physical and mental. Training is the place to do it. It's also where you can adapt to any lasting wounds received in the field. So don't let those wounds linger. You'll pay for them in the long term.
That is awesome. It's always felt kind of weird when you've got these rookies. Like back in XCOM Enemy Unknown, XCOM Enemy Within, you'd have people who wouldn't play for a long time, they'd stay as rookies and they'd never develop. I actually went in the Long War mod and got that virtual reality training piece added onto it to kind of help them improve during HQ. So I love that we get like direct access to this now, and this seems to be all...
Our temporary field office has all the basics. Weapons, comms, and ammunition. Supply is where we request everything else. As long as it's in the squad's budget, it's ours.
Okay, so medkit we shouldn't need, right? Because we have terminal on our side. Smoke, interesting, but from the feel I get from this game is we're going to be in pretty small quarters, so this might benefit the aliens as much, or the, I don't know, the faction we're investigating as much as us. Tracer rounds, I'm just tempted to just buy these straight up off the bat, but only 5 aim seems small. Trank rounds would be killed if you're rendered unconscious. They're captured at the end of each mission. Okay, so that's probably pretty important. Okay. Gets more intel from live captures than body counts. Encouraged to incorporate. I thought that said required at first. Okay. So it sounds like if we can bring them back alive, we'll just get intel. We won't get to, like, you know, torture them like we did in Enemy Unknown, Enemy Within. In terms of the key card, that could be... First mission, I doubt we'll need any of this breaching stuff, but a ceasefire grenade seems super, super cool. I feel like I want to try this out and just grab this real quick. I'm gonna try it out. It's new. I'm gonna try it. Again, probably not super useful because they'll probably just reload and then shoot. But it's kind of a way to pin them then, which could be interesting. Ooh, or could team up with Verge if he ends up stunning them for a little while. This could kind of keep them out longer. Other than that, is this gonna be useful? I don't want to spend all our money right away, so I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that as is. And we'll jump into the city map here. I think we already got the text crawl here, so let's go ahead and jump on in. 30 credits.
We
the only
are not
mission.
the police. If you see a theft, call it into 31 PD
On
and
it.
move on. But there is one notable exception.
Ooh,
Hostile
police work.
forces carrying dangerous contraband may attempt to flee the scene. Don't let them escape.
So what you're telling me is if I see someone commit a theft, call the police. But if I see someone getting away with a theft, intervene and shoot the crap out of them. That's what I heard. I really hope I'm right. Otherwise, well, I seem to have a powerful squad. I don't know there's much you can do about it, so whoops. Okay, so let's check out loadouts here. Click on him. He's got nothing else he can do there. I'm gonna guess that's pretty standard stuff then. We do have a breaching charge right off the bat, which is awesome. And I am gonna go ahead and give it to this guy. And we've got the ceasefire nade, right? Okay. So since he's big, I'm assuming I'm gonna be tanking with him, and he can go in first with something like that. Who wants a grenade? You're probably gonna be using multiple actions.